If you're over 65, there's a good chance you're eating vegetables you believe are healthy, and for most of your life, they were. But your body today isn't the same body you had at 30. Your gut, your kidneys, your metabolism, they've all changed quietly in the background. And that means a few healthy vegetables can actually work against you now, while a few others become almost essential. Today, we're covering 3 vegetables worth a second look, and 3 that deserve a permanent spot on your weekly menu. Nothing here is about fear. It's about eating smarter for the body you have right now. As we age, a few things shift quietly in the background. Digestion slows down. The gut lining thins and enzyme production drops, so foods your body handled easily at 40 can cause more bloating or discomfort now. Kidney function gradually declines. This matters because certain plant compounds that a younger kidney filters out easily can build up more in an older one. Low-grade inflammation increases. Researchers sometimes call this inflammaging, a slow, quiet inflammation linked to joint pain, heart strain, and brain aging. Medications enter the picture. Many adults over 65 take at least one prescription, and some vegetables can interact with how those medications work. Blood thinners, blood pressure medication, and thyroid medication are 3 common examples where certain foods and nutrients need a bit of extra attention, simply because the medication and the food can affect the same system in the body at the same time. Inflammaging deserves a bit more explanation too, because it's one of the most consistently discussed topics in aging research right now. Unlike the swelling you'd notice after a minor injury, this type of inflammation doesn't announce itself. It builds quietly in the background over years, and it's part of why 2 people the same age can feel very differently day to day. One still active and energetic, the other dealing with more aches, stiffness, or fatigue than they'd expect. Diet is one of the few levers we actually have some control over here. There's also something worth understanding about oxidative stress, which is simply the natural wear and tear that builds up in your cells over the decades. Your body has always had systems in place to clean up this wear and tear, but those systems become a little less efficient with age. That's part of why food choices carry more weight now than they did at 30. The same plate of food is doing more work for your body today. None of this means these vegetables are bad. It means timing, quantity, and preparation matter more than they used to. Let's start with the 3 to be a little more thoughtful about. 3 vegetables to enjoy more carefully. 1. Raw spinach. Spinach is loaded with iron, folate, and antioxidants. That part hasn't changed. The caution is around eating it raw and in large amounts, especially in smoothies. Raw spinach is high in oxalates, a natural compound that can bind with calcium and may contribute to kidney stone formation, a risk that tends to increase with age as kidney efficiency declines. Picture someone who started their mornings with a big green smoothie for years, packed with several handfuls of raw spinach. For most of their life, that habit caused no issues at all. But as kidney function gradually shifts with age, that same daily habit can quietly add up in a way it never used to. The simple fix? Cook it. A quick sauté with olive oil and garlic reduces oxalate content significantly and also means you naturally eat a smaller portion. If you've had kidney stones before, this is worth mentioning to your doctor directly. 2. Raw cruciferous vegetables. Kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. These are some of the most nutrient-dense vegetables on the planet. That's not in question. The caution is specifically about eating large amounts raw. Raw cruciferous vegetables contain compounds called goitrogens, which may interfere with thyroid function, something that becomes more relevant after 65, when underactive thyroid is more common, particularly for women. Many people don't realize their thyroid could be running a little low until they notice things like low energy, weight changes, or feeling cold more easily. A large raw kale salad a few times a week may seem like a smart, health-conscious habit, but for someone with a borderline thyroid, it can be working against the very energy and vitality they're trying to protect. The simple fix, steaming, roasting, or stir-frying, deactivates much of this effect, and cooking also makes the fiber gentler on digestion. 3. Raw tomatoes and other nightshades, peppers, eggplant. Tomatoes offer real heart health benefits through lycopene. The caution here applies mainly to people managing arthritis or joint inflammation. Nightshade vegetables contain natural compounds called alkaloids, which some research and clinical observations suggest may aggravate joint discomfort in sensitive individuals. Raw tomatoes' acidity can also worsen acid reflux, which becomes more common as we age. If you've been managing ongoing joint stiffness and can't quite pin down why some days feel worse than others, your diet is worth a second look. Someone who enjoys a fresh tomato salad most afternoons might not connect that habit to their joint discomfort at all, simply because the two seem unrelated on the surface. The simple fix? Cooking tomatoes actually increases lycopene availability and softens the acidity, so a slow-cooked sauce or roasted tomatoes may serve you even better than raw ones. 3 vegetables to eat more often. 1. Garlic. Garlic has been used for centuries, and modern research backs a lot of that reputation. Its active compound, allicin, is associated with healthier blood pressure, improved cholesterol balance, and support for a healthy gut microbiome, which tends to decline with age. Garlic also has a long-standing reputation for supporting the body's natural defenses, and its prebiotic qualities mean it feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, the same bacteria that tend to decline in number and diversity as we get older. A healthier gut microbiome has been linked in research to better immune function and more stable digestion overall. How to use it? Chop or crush garlic and let it sit for about 10 minutes before cooking. This helps the beneficial compound fully develop. Aim for a couple of cloves a day in soups, sauces, or roasted dishes. 2. Bok choy and cooked leafy greens. Collard greens, mustard greens. After 65, bone density loss speeds up for both men and women, making this category especially important. These greens provide highly absorbable calcium and vitamin K, which is linked to directing calcium toward bones rather than arteries. Because they're typically eaten cooked, they're also gentler on digestion than raw cruciferous vegetables. This matters more than most people realize. Bone-related injuries in later life are one of the most common reasons older adults lose independence, and a diet that consistently supports bone density is one of the simplest, most overlooked ways to protect long-term mobility. How to use it? A quick stir-fry in sesame oil, added to soups, or steamed as a simple side. 3. Beets. Beets are rich in natural dietary nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide, a compound associated with improved blood flow, including to the brain. Some research has linked this improved circulation to better memory and thinking speed in older adults. Beets also contain betalains, which support the body's response to inflammation, and betaine, which may help manage homocysteine levels, a factor linked to heart and brain health. Blood flow to the brain naturally becomes more limited with age, and this is part of why staying sharp mentally can take a little more intentional support than it used to. A vegetable that's linked to supporting that circulation is a simple, practical addition worth considering. How to use it? Roasted, added to salads or grain bowls, or in soups. If you take blood thinners, check with your doctor first because of the vitamin K content in beet greens. A few quick myths worth clearing up. All raw vegetables are automatically healthier than cooked ones. Not necessarily. As we've covered today, cooking can actually improve how your body absorbs certain nutrients and reduces certain plant compounds that become harder to process with age. If a vegetable caused no issues in your 30s or 40s, it never will. Your body's needs and sensitivities can shift gradually over the decades, which is exactly why revisiting old habits from time to time is worthwhile. You have to eliminate these vegetables completely. That's not the message here at all. Small adjustments in preparation and portion are usually all that's needed. It's not about cutting vegetables out. It's about cooking method and portion for a handful of them. Cook spinach, cruciferous vegetables, and tomatoes rather than eating them raw in large amounts. Make garlic, cooked leafy greens, and beets a regular part of your week. Small, consistent changes, not a full diet overhaul, are what actually stick. You don't need to change everything about how you eat starting tomorrow. Pick one thing from today's video. Maybe it's cooking your spinach instead of blending it raw, or adding a clove of garlic to dinner a few nights this week. And start there. Your body continues to respond well to good habits at any age, and small shifts made consistently tend to matter far more over time than any single dramatic change. If this helped you look at your grocery list a little differently, subscribe to the Fitivo for more simple, practical health education for life after 65. And if you know someone who could use this, send it their way.